We are now at the last of the videos for beautiful Colorado and InDesign tutorial, so welcome. We're going to go over once again how to schedule with the Student Learning Center, and that is to go to the rimcad.mywconline.com to make an appointment with any of the tutors. Also, you can email us at learning@rimcad.com. I'm just going to do a quick recap of what we have gone over so far. We have started a new project, talked about what parent pages are, adding and scaling images, layout and concept, text and font, and now we're going to move on to printing. So as always, we've got all of the PowerPoint pages going along with the InDesign video. If you decide to use both or one or the other, you have that choice. So we're going to go over how to print PDF. There's also the export option, and then we're going to talk a little bit about bleeding. So we are going to now talk about printing. And there are lots of things to think about when printing. Typically, you think about them or know what you want to do before you're even, finished with the project. And a lot of that is dependent on if you're getting it professionally done or if you're printing it yourself, say at school or what have you. If you're getting it professionally printed, typically that printer will tell you exactly how they want you to set up the file and what settings it needs to be. Print it the way that you want it to look. Bleeding and things like that is all stuff that you'll talk about with your printer. If you are just doing an InDesign presentation and printing it yourself, then you want to go to File, and you can just go to Export. And I'm going to put this on my desktop. It's going to print as a PDF. It's going to my desktop and save. Now, here's all of your settings. So you can compress the file. You can do your bleeds here. And then advanced settings might be something that you want to look at if your printer is telling you something specific. And you can also save presets. Or doing, lots of projects the same way, and you've found settings that you really prefer using and you just want to save that as your default, then that's a good way to go so that you don't have to set it up every single time. So I'm just going to export. It always warns you, and that's what this is down here also, the errors. It wants you to fix that before it prints. It's really great about making sure that you're doing everything correctly before you waste your time printing. And so I'm going to actually go up to my links and see if there's any issues with the photos that I'm using, and there doesn't seem to be. So here are those two errors, and it's in my text. And so I want to go to, it looks like page 2 and page 6 to find out what those issues are. So this is 2, and as we can see, there's that red box telling us that we haven't given ourselves enough space for all of the text that's in that box. Okay, so I'm just going to make that box a little bit bigger. Oh, and look at that. There's actually some stuff hidden back there. I definitely don't want that. Okay. So now I'm going to close that. I'm going to move it. All right, so there's issue number 1 dealt with, and we're going to go to page 6 now. It's the size of the box. See, there's a lot more text there. And so you would have to change the font size, or you would have to change maybe the spacing in the paragraphs to be able to make that fit. Right now, though, all I'm going to do is get it out of there because we don't need it. So I'm just going to make it fit. In actuality, you would want to change spacing, think about font size, etc. So then now you can see that there are no more errors. So we're going to close that box. Again, errors down here, so we're going to move on and try and export that again. You can print all of the pages at once, or you can just print 1 or 2. That's what you need. We're going to go ahead and export. And it may take a moment. Again, there's lots of information here on these pages, and so you have to kind of be patient with PDF. As you can see, it is thinking up here. It's usually going to give you some sort of indication that it is working. So sometimes it might say something at the bottom. And here we go. We see the PDF on my desktop called Beautiful Colorado and InDesign Tutorial. And there we go. I tend not to use print this way, even if it is making a PDF. You can do this if you are printing straight from your computer to a school printer, etc. But this tends to, with PDF, format it strangely. And so even though it's on tabloid, it doesn't always save the 11 by 17s in the right direction. It cuts it off or turns it around. There's all these settings that you can play with. You can save presets. You can set up paper size. Let's give it a try since we're talking about it. So I'm going to change it to 11 by 17. Okay, so 11 by 17, or you can do Ledger, which is 17 by 11. You can also change the orientation this way. All right, so also here in this window, you can play with preferences, and that'll give you some options with layout and paper quality. So I'm going to go ahead and just go for it. I'm just going to print really quick, and we're going to see what happens having not really done a whole lot, because I didn't save it with that 11 by 17 change that I made before. So we're going to save it on the desktop. Okay, so let's go over here to the desktop and see it opens automatically for us, and see how it's sideways, and so it's cut off. Okay, so just be really careful of printing presets and really make sure you know what you want, you know what your page size is, and you're making sure you're checking all those boxes. You can also make the presets, and then there's print booklet, which has its own set of rules. So in the beginning, when we open up a new document, there's actually a way that the pages are laid out, and I have it unclicked because I don't want it to lay out like a book. So next is packaging. This is really cool. This is great for if you're sharing the files with someone maybe that you're collaborating with, someone that's also going to be working on the project, but on a different computer. And so you can actually send packaging to them, and it saves all of your fonts, your linked images, colors, preset colors, etc. with the package, so that the other person can work on it using those same fonts and not having to download specific things. Okay. And I am going to say package. Publication must be saved before continuing. Save it now? Sure. All right, so again, we're going to save it to my desktop. I want it to copy fonts. I want the graphics to be linked. You might want to use that, but obviously you want to use the highest print when you're printing it for your final. And so you're going to package. This is talking about font and making sure that you're not using any fonts that are copyrighted. All of mine were free to use for commercial use, so all of that is okay. It's going to take a few minutes. All right, so we're going to go and look for that here on our desktop. There it is, and it comes in a folder because it's going to have all of your fonts there that you used, all of your linked photos. It gives you an original InDesign document that you can go in and change. And then it also gives you a PDF so that you can easily just send it off to someone. This is nice for school also, even if you're not collaborating with someone else, just because you can then zip file these things and save it on your computer for if you ever need to get into this project. Say you're doing this project now and you're only, a sophomore, but then later on in your portfolio, you're going to want to find certain things in this project and use in your portfolio. So then it's all there. Can just copy even this PDF, make another copy of it, and send that one off to an instructor for this project. So that's really nice to have. To make a zip file to send this off to someone, you would just right click, you go down to send to, and compressed zipped folder. Okay, you're going to press that, and it's going to take a second to compress all of those files. Again, it's a lot of information. And then, so it's just going to make another folder exactly like the one you have here, except that it's compressed. All right, so now we are going to move on to alternatives to InDesign. We are going to talk about PowerPoint, using it as an alternative, and some other alternatives. I'll be going down a list of websites with you and kind of talk about those and talk about pros and cons. With PowerPoint, there are a lot of great things about it. It's quick and easy. There aren't as many choices as there are in InDesign. So that goes both ways. It depends if you want to do a really quick project or if you really want to have all of the choices. So here are those lists of websites, and we are going to go through each one, and I will show you kind of just what it looks like and pros and cons to them. And I am going to open this up. So to start, let's talk about backgrounds. The nice thing about PowerPoint is that there's already some built-in templates, built-in backgrounds, things like that you can work with so that you're not having to create from scratch anything. And that's why it's faster. And you can go to Format Background, and it gives you all these options. We're using this one right here. There's very few cases where you can actually, once you've created this background, that you can change it. Now, the instance that you can change the background is it gives you some pretty cool choices sometimes when you're formatting background. If you were to lay in a picture, that it would then suggest options for you. And so we're going to go ahead and give that a try. I'm just going to quickly, so I've gone to Insert, Picture, and then this device, because I want to use a picture in the file that I've been using for this project. That one in. Okay. So when you throw in a picture, you can remove the background, you can change colors, transparency, you can put borders around it. You can do different effects to make it, look 3D. You can change the size and crop here. You can also do that if you right-click on the image. You can cut, copy, paste. If you've got several pictures on one thing, you'll be able to arrange them from back to front. And then Format Picture, etc. is just going to bring out this stuff. So we're going to go here. Again, you can change colors here. You can do gradient background. Okay, so notice I've changed the color, etc., and nothing happens here. Okay, and right here says design ideas. That's only going to pop up and it will open up this right-hand side panel when they have ideas to give you. It doesn't always happen, and so that's why creating a background on everyone makes it more difficult. So this one, it did give me the option. I had laid down this picture and that design ideas section opened up for me. And so I got to pick it and change the background. But that doesn't always happen. So again, that's one of those things that you just can't control in PowerPoint, and why InDesign is better in a lot of ways. So all of your tabs are pretty easy to figure out. They're pretty self-explanatory. Home is just kind of your general use stuff. If you've got text, then this is where you would change it. You can always click on the toolbar above it. Or if you go to Insert, there is the text box here. I'm going to go to Insert, Text Box, open it up, and just start typing. See, we're going to hover over that and highlight it. We're going to change. Yep, see, it's at black. So if we changed it to white, PowerPoint does do grammar checks and things of that sort for you because it is a Microsoft product. So that's one really nice thing about it. I would not rely on it though. I tend to make lots of mistakes even though it does have the check on it. So what I'll do is if I'm doing a lot of text, I usually go into a Word document, type out my text, and then copy and paste it into the PowerPoint so that I'm making sure that all of it is correct. So just like InDesign, you can make boxes and shapes, and you have a fill and an outline. So you can do a no fill, and that just creates a border. Or you can do it the other way around. You can do no outline and you're filling the box. Okay, you can do both and create a frame of a different color. And then you can change the weight of that and the style. So here's sketchy marks, which is fun, dashes, and you can load more. You can record in PowerPoint. You can save as a PDF. You can export as a video. You can add audio or video into your PowerPoint for a presentation. You can practice your presentation and listen to yourself, which is really nice. There's actually a lot of different ways to, practice your presentation. And you can either start from beginning or start from current slide. And so that will allow you to have it on your whole desktop and show nothing else. And you just would use your arrows, your right and left arrows, to go through the different pages. So let's go over and talk about saving, printing, etc. So save and save as, pretty self-explanatory. If you've ever saved anything Microsoft before, it's pretty much the same. So you're going to pick the title of it. You can create a new folder, or you can add it into a folder that maybe you've just gone into. You can just change it to the desktop. You can also save as a PDF and print, and mine is set to a PDF right now, so it's the same as just saving as a PDF for me. However, if you have a printer, it'll print to whatever printer you have set up on your computer. And then, of course, you have your settings here. And then you can also export, and so you can make it a video automatically. So this is really nice to have with Microsoft products. You can have the autosave on, and then just every few minutes, maybe even big changes, it just autosaves for you so that you never lose any of your work. The Google products are very, very similar. I enjoy using them very much because they save straight to your drive. And so you can be in your slides, which is the same as PowerPoint. You can start a blank, and it looks almost exactly the same. You've got your file to save and print. You've got your views, your inserts, formatting text, etc. This also gives you different types of themes. And then no matter what, it's constantly saving to your drive. So with the Google products also, you've got the slides, which is PowerPoint. You've got Sheets, which is basically the same as Excel, Word doc. You've got your calendar, your drive, and your Gmail. All right, so we're going to go ahead and close this PowerPoint, and I'm going to show the other alternatives to using InDesign or PowerPoint. There are websites that basically build mood boards for you. They're templates. Create a free mood board, and they're very professional looking and fairly easy to use. Now, because of the way my brain works, I like InDesign because then it's a blank slate. I have all the choices in the world. This is more difficult for me because I feel like I have to fight with the system to do what I want it to do because there's already default set up. But it does ask you to share your email, etc. But it's going to have lots of tips and tricks. They are pretty much all specifically made in mind of interior designers, although they can also be used for fashion designers. Okay, and this one is called Sample Board, and there is a link in the PowerPoint for you. All right, so Canva is more or less the same thing. You can start designing a mood board, logging in, and Canva, I believe, is free. At some point, maybe when printing becomes your next step, then it might ask you to purchase or become a member or something of that nature. But again, it's really nice for little tips and tricks. They do create some really fun boards and then just very simple professional boards as well. And so, as we've talked about before in our layouts, one style is most commonly used for interior design mood boards. This looks like it's more specific to fashion. The nice things about these websites is that you can post what you've just created on Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, etc. So that's kind of a nice addition for those of you who like to share your work. We'll move on to the next. we're going to go into talking a little bit about finding images and citations when creating mood boards, presentations, and portfolios. It's really, really important that you know what a good citation is and what a not good citation is. Pinterest is not a good citation. It's great to find inspiration and collect inspiration, but unless you can find where it originally came from, like this one, where it takes you to the actual website where the image originally comes from, don't use Pinterest as a citation, but you could use this link as a citation. Moving forward with talking about where to get images from and citing them correctly, Unsplash is a great source. It is free. And something really nice about Unsplash is that you can write in very conceptual ideas or words. Let's do this one. We're just going to click on justice and see what it gives us. And so those are the images it pulls up. You could also type in something like balance. And these are great for conceptual mood boards. Okay, and so then it gives you some great pictures for balance. And when you find that photo, it gives you a couple of options. You can use a credit, you can purchase if you're a member. Some are free in letting you use them for commercial use, and some have you purchase them one time so that then you can use them for whatever you like. It just depends on the photographs. You have the stock photo from Adobe, which with your school account, you can use these images. Okay, and what's nice about the Adobe is that you can create a library. So you can save pictures and keep using them over and over again so that you're not having to look for similar things again and again. You can save them and they're saved on the cloud rather than on your computer, which is nice. All right. And sticking to Adobe, we're also going to talk quickly about the portfolio option. There's the Behance also, and these give you different templates, different options, different tips and tricks. These are really great when you're first starting out. You don't want to purchase a website, and you can actually share your work with other people through the Adobe Portfolio and Behance, and there's a couple of others. But this is nice because you can actually just send people a link to this and just show your work. And quickly, just here's Behance. So it is an Adobe product, so you can sign in with that password that was given to you as a student. Behance is really great too because then you get to see other people's work and follow those artists that you are really enjoying. Right, so here we are at closing overview of videos made for this tutorial, A Beautiful Colorado and InDesign Tutorial. So we have talked about starting a new project, creating that project, opening it up, talking a little bit about pages, sizing, etc., what parent pages are, master pages, and how to use them. We've talked about adding images, scaling images. We've talked a lot about layout and concept. We've talked about text and font. We went over printing and different ways to print, what packaging is and its usefulness. And then lastly, we talked about alternatives to using InDesign. So we went over PowerPoint a little bit. We went over the Google options that you have. We went over the other Adobe options that you have and different template websites that you can use to make fast, easy mood boards as well. Last but not least, before we go, I want to talk about the tip sheets that we offer through the Student Learning Center. And one of them is specific to interior design mood boards. You can get these from us. We will email them to you. Oftentimes, after we've had a session with a student and we've discussed a certain topic, we will send one of these out. If you ask for one, we can send them to you. But it basically goes over very quickly a lot of the things that we discussed throughout this video. So layout and grid development, F&E, different types of websites to use. And then we also have an InDesign tip sheet. We also have tip sheets for all of the Adobe products. And again, it just goes over quickly things that we talked about in the video, how to open a project, how to bring images in, paragraph styles, master pages, etc. This is really nice too. I don't use these, but these are nice to know, these little shortcuts, these keyboard shortcuts. I also wanted to go over one last tip sheet that we have. Leah had suggested this one to me, digital portfolios. And as you can see, again, it's just a quick tip sheet explaining, tips and tricks and best methods. All right. And here's all of our information. They're always at the end of every tip sheet. If you ever lose track of that information, it's there also. And just know, again, that we have lots and lots of different tip sheets available to you. We can send any of these to you, all the way from paraphrasing to perspective drawing, okay? And so just give us a shout out if you're interested in any of these tip sheets. All right, and just for a reminder, as we close the end of this video, I do want to talk about how to schedule with the Student Learning Center. Again, my name is Catherine Novak, and I am the SLC's interior design tutor. I can help with all of the interior design classes, your fundamental art classes, and writing in Adobe Basics. Please feel free to email me directly if you have any questions or concerns about InDesign or really anything else RimCAD oriented. You can also make appointments with any of our other tutors. They are all wonderful and knowledgeable in different areas, and so it's definitely worth getting to know them. So please log in to rimcad.mywconline.com to make an appointment. If you have not already, set up a profile to then make an appointment with one of us. Or you can email learning@rimcad.edu to get a hold of any of us. I thank you for watching. I truly hope that this helped and that you find it useful to use the PowerPoint that I made and the InDesign video to use either together or separately to help you make your way through an amazing mood board, portfolio, or presentation. Thank you, and bye-bye.